Come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. Let's talk about The Gifted. This is my review for season 1, episode 2. Now, this episode wasn't nearly as good as the first episode, but it was necessary. Okay, so just listen to me. It's not going to be a very long review because, like I said, it wasn't as action-packed. It wasn't as good as the first episode, but it was necessary for the story building. Okay, so we got Lorna down she's at the county jail. They put her in the county jail now. She has this collar with these lights on it. And we end up seeing down at the jail, there are some other mutants that are in jail and they have these collars on, okay? And what ends up happening when she tries to use her powers, the collar basically knocks her out. It kind of makes her short circuit and knocks her out. They basically focus, that's all you seen of Lorna, was them focusing on her getting acclimated to the life there at the county jail. It's just not good. It's not fair. You're basically at the mercy of no one. Nobody cares. You are public enemy number 1, basically. You know, the inmates are mean to her. The staff don't give a shit. You know, that whole kind of little thing. And then remember, she's pregnant. So we got her in there. Then the other mutants don't consort with each other. And there was this one girl, she looks like she has her face is all cracked up, and she's very, very pale. I would love to know what her power is, but she's thick, real thick. She looked like a light female version of the Thing from Fantastic Four is what she looked like. But anyway, they just kind of stay away from each other, and they're not interested in trying to make alliances or anything. Told them, stay away from me, honey. It's hard enough in here. You stay away from me. So they went through that kind of thing. And then one day she was out out in the court. And, you know, she ran into the girls, and there was this one girl, black girl. She was a hot mess. And her face was kind of scarred up, and she's telling her, you know, I'm the law in here. I'm what's going on. I run things. You know, this, that, thing, and the other, and on and on and on. Lorna was like, yeah, okay, girl, whatever. She said, yeah, out there on them streets, you got powers, but in here, I'm the power. She said, well, I guess it's a good thing that you met me in here now, isn't it? She said, what's your deal, really? Is it one of my brothers or sisters that gave you all the scars on your face? Is that what you're mad about, honey? And she went to walk away, and some girls came up and jumped her. I was like, oh, gosh. Okay. So, like I said, you know, using her powers will mess her up. She's laying there, and they punching her and beating her. And then she has the nerve, the black girl comes down, the one that was in charge of things, says, yeah, I heard you are knocked up. Let's see if that little mutant baby can take see if that mutant baby is as tough as you claim to be. And she kicked her in the stomach. Baby, when I tell you, you know how she does with the magnetic powers, honey, she's about to be knocked out. She gave her boom, honey, and took a whole metal table and took her and mashed her up against the fence. I said, you goddamn better do it. She mashed her ass good, tore her ass up. But then they banged her up. The girls beat her up. The cops let her beat her for a while, and they took her and they threw her in the hole. But that's okay, because she got that bitch with that table. Good. Anyway, so we got that going on. Then there was this other thing when Lorna was in jail. She would take a shower. And you know how you'd be taking a shower and the soap runs down on you. And you see the soap run white down off of your skin. And you know her skin is real, real milky white and pretty. She's just like her skin's like flawless. Milky white, and then, you know, her hair and everything's real dark, and they have her in her makeup. Well, she's not supposed to be made up, but she's made up. It's real dark and goth. When the water runs down on her, it runs like black. I didn't know what that was about, but it like she was rinsing, it was like black, and everybody was in the shower just looking at her. She's looking at them like, whatever. Like she was used to it, like nothing was wrong. She was cool with it. But it looked like somebody had ran water on a piece of charcoal. and the blackness just was running. I said, "Ooh, okay, girl, what's going on?" I don't know what that was about. I really would like to know what that was about. If any of y'all know what that's about, or you read the comic book and maybe she's in there, put it in them comments, because that freaked me out. I was like, okay, I like it, but it's weird. Anyway, okay, so let's go on to Clarice. Clarice is the Asian girl with the green eyes that does the portals. So she did all of that stuff, and they were miles away from where they were. So doing the portal that big for that long has really messed her up. And her body is just shutting down. She's in a state of shock. And what ends up happening is she's like half unconscious, and she's opening up portals, and there's things coming through. Like there was this whole thing where a truck literally came through. Half of the truck came through and like banged and almost tore their behinds up. And what we found out is Lauren actually was able to use her force fields to close the portal. So they're like, okay, but as she continued to get sicker, because we figured out the mother of the two, of Andy and Lauren, is actually a nurse, but they needed to go to a hospital and to be able to steal the supplies, like to make an IV and to give her these drugs and things to get her, because she was shutting down and her blood pressure was going up and all these things. She was getting balled up and she's dehydrating and all of this. So they need to go to a hospital to get the stuff. So we had a whole scene where Marco and the mother went to the hospital, told some lies, got in there, stole the stuff, and just escaped just in time. Because when the truck thing came through, she had banged her head and she had some scars. And here they thought that they came in because they pretended to be a couple. And this one doctor was like reporting them to the police because he thought that he was beating her. Child, so they had to like run and get out of there. So that was that. Now, in the midst of all of that going on, and the mother, actually, she saved the day. Because by the time they were doing all this, she had really something when things that went haywire. And she kind of fell, Clarice fell into this trance, and there was just portals opening everywhere. So they were like trying to evacuate everybody, and the portal, it just tore the whole place up where they were at. It was a whole big mess, and Lauren couldn't even get them closed. You know what I mean? And then the little boy, Andy got to use his powers. Andy and Lauren in this episode are getting like a crash course in how to control their powers. So that's definitely a good thing. They learned to work together and to help and all that, but things that went haywire until the mother actually got there, and she pulled herself together and she ran in there, when everybody else was running away. The only ones was left in there was is the name John? I think it was John, the Indian guy, and he's like real strong, so he could kind of withstand all the things that was falling down and all that. Everybody else was getting out. The mother ran in there. She was brave. Went in there. She saved the day. She got girlfriend all together and all of that. But in the midst of her travels with Marcos, she learned about the struggle. And that's what she was saying. Is it always this hard? This, that, and the other. She had a talk with her kids, and she was saying, this fight has been going on for a very long time. Her eyes are open to what has actually been going on, what it looks like on the other side. And she's like, we're going to fight. We're going to bring everybody home. So she gets it, and she's down for the fight. She's down for it. So that was really interesting. That was really good. Now, the whole time all this is going on, the father is detained by Sentinel Services. So, the main guy from Sentinel Services, we find out that he is just really pissed off and he's really bitter because he had a 7-year-old daughter that lost her life to some type of a solar blast in the big fight that went on, that started all of this stuff. Between the mutants, and he's like, I don't know who the blast came from, a good mutant or a bad mutant. He's just mad, period. So he's bitter, and he's trying to railroad the father and all of that. They even pulled his mother into the whole thing. I was like, what kind of mess is this? So it was just a whole mess. So they're trying to railroad him. Then they end up getting down to where he done got tired, and the father says, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to make a deal. I'm going to give myself up for my family's freedom. And you're not going to chase my family. You're going to leave my family alone, and that's that and the other. And he said, yeah, we'll do all that. But what you got to give me in exchange, you got to give me the Mutant Underground. And so he's like faced with that. So I guess he's going to have to, he ain't going to fold to that, I know. He's going to have to finagle. But they kind of ended that out right there. Last thing we actually saw was there was a strange looking scientist who has some type of interest in the Strucker children. So that was the last thing we saw. So I can't wait till next week so we can see exactly what his deal is. And why are you so concerned about the 2 Strucker children? Sound like some mess. I can't wait to see what it's all about. But yeah, I love this show. If this is the first time you're hearing anything about it, go back and watch episode 1 was excellent. And go watch my review as well. So that's that. And I will catch up with you guys next week. Later.